Deva Ke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirviseshasha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
We have to start 2.10.47.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. 47. Huh? So we finished 46 full. Yeah, we finished 46. Okay. So Parimanam cha kalasya kalpa lakshana vigraham yatha purushtad vyakhyasye padmam kalpam atoshrano. Okay, I shall in due course explain the measurement of time in its gross and subtle features with the specific symptoms of each. But for the present, let me explain to you the Padma Kalpa. So we heard yesterday that each day of Brahma is called a Kalpa and they all have different names. So now Sukadev Goswami is going to speak to Parikshit Maharaj about Padma Kalpa. It's Padma Kalpa. Padma. The present duration of a Kalpa of Brahma is called the Varaha Kalpa or Shweta Varaha Kalpa because the incarnation of the Lord as Varaha took place during the creation of Brahma, who was born on the lotus coming out of the abdomen of Vishnu. Therefore, this Varaha Kalpa is also called Padma Kalpa. And this is testified by Acharyas like Jiva Goswami as well as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in pursuance of the first commentator, Swami Sridhar. So there is no contradiction between the Varaha and the Padma Kalpa of Brahma. So this day of Brahma is called Padma Kalpa or the Varaha Kalpa. And the great authorities, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they are reconfirming the commentary of Swami Sridhar. So these are all great acharyas in our line, pure devotees. You know. So text 48, Shonak Vacha Yad Ahan no Bhavan Sutta Shata Bhagavatottamaha Chachara Tirthani Bhuvas Tyaktva Bandhun Shudushtayajan. Shonak Rishi, after hearing all about the creation, inquired from Suta Goswami about Vidur. For Suta Goswami had previously informed him how Vidura left home, leaving aside all his relatives, who were very difficult to leave. The rishis headed by Shaunaka were more anxious to know about Vidur, who met Maitreya Rishi while traveling to the pilgrimage sites of the world. So Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. And at that time, there were so many sages sitting in Naimisharanya. So one of the sages sitting was Suta Goswami. Suta Goswami again repeated the Bhagavatam as he heard from Sukadev Goswami to so many sages. And so the leader of that assembly was Shaunak Rishi. So Shaunak Rishi keeps on asking questions to Suta Goswami. So now he's asking him, like, can you please explain to us?
Had your milk?
Can you please explain to us about Vidura? Because Vidura left home, and now here, see what Shaunak Rishi is saying. How did he leave home, leaving aside all his relatives who are very difficult to leave? It's very difficult for us to give up our material attachments. You know, we might think it's easy, but actually we are very, very attached. It's very difficult for us to give up. So that's why Shaunak Rishi is saying, how did he give it up? You know, what inspired him to give it up? So text 49 to 50. Shatu kosha ravestasya samvado adhyatma samshritaha yadva sa bhagavams tasmai prishtas tattvam uvachaha bruhi na tas idam somya vidurasya vichestitam bandhu tyaga nimittam cha yatheva gattavan punaha. Shaunak Rishi said, let us know, please, what topics were discussed between Vidur and Maitreya, who talked on transcendental subjects, and what was inquired by Vidura and replied by Maitreya. Also, please let us know the reason for Vidura's giving up the connection of his family members and why he again came home. Please also let us know the activities of Vidura while he was in the places of pilgrimage. So we can get a little bit idea of the consciousness of Shaunak Rishi. You know, he's not asking Suta Goswami about anything mundane. He's asking him about the devotees of the Lord and what were the topics that the devotees were speaking. What happened? What happened? We always have this desire to hear and to speak, you know, but what are we actually wanting to hear about? And what are we actually wanting to speak about? The perfection of hearing, the reason we are being given this hearing capability is to hear about Krishna, about hearing about the devotees of Krishna. And why? Because with this hearing, we will revive our original consciousness, our original love for Krishna. So we can see what our topics are. Oh, what was she doing? Oh, what was he doing? Oh, really? They did that or what? You know? And here the great sages, they're always wanting to hear topics about Krishna, about the pure devotees. The topics of the pure devotees are never separate from the topics of Krishna. Why? Because the pure devotees are always speaking about Krishna. They're always serving Krishna. So Sri Suta Goswami was narrating the topics of the creation and destruction of the material world. But it appears that the rishis, headed by Shaunak, were more inclined to hear of transcendental subjects which are on a higher level than the physical. So Shaunak, Suta Goswami was speaking about how this, we were just hearing, right? The kalpa of the Lord, the sarga, visarga, how the breathing of Mahavishnu, how all the elements are there, how the senses are, everything is put inside, you know, the senses, the eyes, ears, nose, everything. But then now Shaunak Rishi, they want to hear more about the transcendental subjects. What were the devotees talking about? There are two classes of men, namely those too addicted to the gross body and the material world, and others on the higher level who are interested more in transcendental knowledge. So the two classes of men, those who are too addicted to the gross body of the material world, means everything to do with the body. Whatever's going to make me happy. Let me speak about what happened to this entertainer, what happened to this friend of mine, what happened to, you know, but the desire to hear is just, is not in a way of helping, but just to aggravate our lower nature, you know. And whereas they are the pure devotees, they are the others who are always wanting to talk about Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam gives facility to everyone, both to the materialist and to the transcendentalist. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in the matter of the Lord's glorious activities, both in the material world and in the transcendental world, men can derive equal benefit. The materialists are more interested in the physical laws and how they are acting, and they see wonders in those physical glamours. Sometimes, due to physical glamours, they forget the glories of the Lord. They should know definitely that physical activities and their wonders are all initiated by the Lord. The rose in the garden gradually takes its shape and color to become beautiful and sweet, not by a blind physical law, although it appears like that. Behind the physical law is the direction of the complete consciousness of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, things cannot take shape so systematically. So we can see that this creation is so beautiful. It attracts us. That's the reason we want to still stay here, because she belongs to Krishna, the material energy. That's why she's so attractive to us. And then we wonder, oh, let me go and see this. Let me go to the ocean, it's so beautiful. Let me go to this mountain, it's so beautiful. Let me go to this forest, it's so beautiful. But then we should always try to remember that this creation is so beautiful because the creator is also very beautiful. There is a creator behind it. Same as we say that, how did our keyboard and our computers and our mobile phone happen? It's not that one day we were sleeping and we woke up and then the chemicals mixed together and suddenly a phone appeared, No, it's made by somebody in the factory. Even if we say the machine made it, but there is so much human endeavor required in it. So similarly, the universe, although it appears so beautiful and automatic, because it appears automatic, we forget that Krishna is behind it all, So behind the physical law is the direction of the complete consciousness of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, things cannot take shape so systematically. The artist draws a picture of a rose very nicely with all attention and artistic sense, and yet it does not become as perfect as the real rose. If that is the real fact, how can we say that the real rose has taken its shape without intelligence behind the beauty? I don't know if you all have seen that even though we try to draw something really very nice, the original one still looks more beautiful. That's Krishna's beauty. He's a he's so creative, when we look at even some insects, you see, they have these beautiful colors on them. It's just so amazing. This sort of conclusion is due to a poor fund of knowledge. One must know from the above description of creation and annihilation that the Supreme Consciousness being omnipresent can take care of everything with perfect attention. That is the fact of the omnipresence of the Supreme Lord. Persons still more foolish than the gross materialist, however, claim to be transcendentalists and claim to have such supreme, all-pervading consciousness, but offer no proof. So there is one class of people who say that God does not exist at all. Then there is another class of people, they say that we are the supreme consciousness, that we are God, that, right now we have forgotten we are God, but after we give up this body, we will become God. But they don't give any proof of their being God. We just heard a few days ago, that's the reason Arjuna asked Krishna, please show me the universal form. So for people like us, if somebody is God, they should be able to show the universal form because God is the creator of these universes. Such foolish persons cannot know what is going on behind the next wall, yet they are falsely proud of possessing the cosmic, all-pervading consciousness of the Supreme Person. For them also, hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam is a great help. It will open their eyes to see that simply by claiming supreme consciousness, one does not become supremely conscious. So on our mental platform, we can think anything. I can think that I'm the one who created this whole world and this whole universe. I can think that, but then is that true? Is that the fact? You know, our minds are very imaginative. It can make us believe anything, but does that become a fact though? No, it does not. One has to prove in the physical world that he has such supreme consciousness. The rishis of Naimisharanya, however, were above the gross materialist and the false transcendentalist, and thus they were always anxious to know the real truth in transcendental matters, as discussed by authorities. Is that okay? Any questions or comments?
No, looks
All
good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Krishna is the creator of the universe is a fact. It's not a matter of belief. You know, it's a fact that he has created these universes, all the universes.
I have a question, Shilpaji.
Yes, please.
What is Naimisharanya? The rishis of Naimisharanya. I just started listening to Bhagavatam, so I don't know about it.
Thank you. So Naimisharanya is the place where all the rishis are sitting. They are collected to speak about Bhagavatam. They want to hear Bhagavatam. So they were collected there. It's a holy place. It's still there in India. And
Okay.
according to some acharyas, they say that that's the center of the universe. You know?
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So you spoke over there. I mean, Sukdev Goswami.
The Bhagavatam, yeah, the sages.
Bhagavatam.
At least Sutta Goswami, I know. Sutta Goswami is sitting there.
Oh.
The second time when Bhagavatam is being spoken, Sutta Goswami heard from Sukadev Goswami on the bank of the Ganges, where Parikshit Maharaj was sitting on the bank of the Ganges. Some say he was sitting on bank of Ganges and some say Yamuna, but it doesn't matter. Details are not so important. But then again, so just before the Kali Yuga started, or just at the beginning of Kali Yuga, all the sages collected there because they knew Kali Yuga is starting, and then they could foresee that people are going to be misguided, unlucky, unfortunate, mind always disturbed. So they were sitting there to do penances and sacrifices for our behalf. And Sutta Goswami came there. And so they put questions to Sutta Goswami. They told him, oh, you heard Bhagavatam from Sukadev Goswami. So you please explain to us the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how now Sutta Goswami is speaking. Sutta Vacha Rajna Parikshita Prishto Yad Abochan Mahamunihi Tadvo Abhidha Sieshranuta Rajna Prashananusharataha. Sri Sutta Goswami explained, I shall now explain to you the very subjects explained by the great sage in answer to King Parikshit's inquiries. Please hear them attentively. So Sutta Goswami is saying, what I heard from Sukadev Goswami, what he was speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, I will tell you. And he's saying, please hear them attentively. You know, when we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, if we want to really, really connect to Bhagavatam, we want to really connect to Krishna, we have to hear it attentively. That's one of the qualifications, to hear it submissively and attentively. And Sutta Goswami is saying, not what I think, not according to me, you know, my belief, in my mind, I feel. No, he's saying what I heard from Sukadev Goswami. This is how transcendental knowledge has to be received in the disciplic succession, in the parampara system. That's why it's so important to hear the transcendental knowledge in the parampara system. Because the devotees are just repeating what they have heard from their predecessor acharyas. There is no, what do you say, contamination. There's no mixture in it. It's pure. Any question that is put forward may be answered by quoting the authority, and that satisfies the saner section. That is the system, even in the law court. The best lawyer gives evidence from past judgment of the court without taking much trouble to establish his case. This is called the parampara system, and learned authorities follow it without manufacturing rubbish interpretations. Because we can make up anything, our minds are very imaginative. But what good will it do to us and to the others? It's just still going to keep us bewildered in the material world. So it's better to hear from authority. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Brahma Samhita 5.1. Sneha, this is the one you like, right?
Yes, my favorite.
Would you like to repeat it?
Yeah. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam.
So this is what Lord Brahma.
So it says everything. Yeah. That he is the cause of all causes. He is Parama Krishna, Ishvara. Yeah.
Brahmaji is saying Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the Ishwar. He's the Supreme Lord. And then Satchidananda Vigraha, his form, he has a form, a beautiful form, which is Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge. Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. He's there existing eternally, and he's the cause of all causes. So let us all obey the Supreme Lord, whose hand is in everything without exception. So we have been hearing so much about the universal form to know that there is nothing in this material world which is beyond Krishna. Nothing. We are always trying to forget Krishna, but everything that is in our experience is in the whatever we are experiencing in this material world, all is within Krishna. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the second canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. End of the second canto. So I congratulate all of us. Today we finished the second canto. So gradually.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Any questions, comments? Anybody to share anything, any experience?
I have just heard, like on Janmashtami, few of the temples, they recited whole of the Brahma Samhita. And even on Ekadashis, there are few temples like Nitai Sevni Mataji, on every Ekadashi, she recites the whole Brahma Samhita online. So that's why I got to know more about it from there. Though we always say, like we always read, and it's always mentioned as a reference in all of our purports, but like they're reciting it. So I got to recite, like that was my fortune that I got to recite on Janmashtami and one of the Ekadashis, the recently Ekadashis, with Nitai Sevni Mataji in one of the temples.
Yeah, wonderful. Brahma Samhita, Lord Chaitanya gave it a very great importance to Brahma Samhita because it's authorized. It's Brahmaji is our Acharya, in this disciplic succession. We are following the teachings of Brahmaji. So in Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji is explaining what he's seeing Krishna, he's seeing Golok Vrindavan, he's describing all of that. Wonderful. So this third canto is, the first chapter of the third canto is questions by Vidura. So 3.3.1, Shri Sukha Vacha Evam Etat Pura Prishto Maitriyo Bhagavan Kila Shatra Vanam Pravishtena Tyaktva Swagraham Riddhimat. Sukadev Goswami said, after renouncing his prosperous home and entering the forest, King Vidura, the great devotee, asked this question of His Grace Maitreya Rishi. So Vidura had left home, because Duryodhana told him, don't be here anymore. So Vidura took that as an excuse to go visit the pilgrimage. Actually, Vidura, he is Yamraj. He's the ruler of the Pitraloka planet. And then he's the one who's always giving all the judgment to the people, the sinners. And he's so busy. He's very busy, more busier than the other demigods, that he does not get time to glorify the Lord. Why is he so busy? Because there are more souls who are engaging in sinful activities. So he also had the desire to come and glorify the Lord's, the glories of the Lord. He had that desire. So when Duryodhan told him, then he took that as an opportunity and left home. And now he's getting the knowledge from Maitreya Rishi. And later we'll see how he's giving this knowledge to his brother Dhritarashtra. And how did Yamraj come as Vidura? It was just so happened that there was this Muni, Manduka Muni. He was, there was a robbery, and the king's soldiers came to arrest him. They falsely accused him of being in the robbery, and they were going to pierce his eyes with sharp lance. But at the end moment, when the king realized, oh, this is Manduka Muni, you know what my soldiers are doing, he stopped it. But then Manduka Muni he got very upset. And so he went to Yamraj and said, why did you make me go through this? You know, why did I have to go through this experience, this ordeal? So Yamraj told him, oh, because when you were a kid, you were piercing the ants. So he said, but that time I was a kid. I didn't have the intelligence for this. If you're going to give me this punishment, then you are no better than a Shudra. So I curse you. You become a Shudra in your next life. You take a form of a Shudra. I'm sorry. And that's how Vidura was born. So we can see always, actually Vidur, he's a pure devotee of the Lord. Yamraj is a pure devotee. He's one of the Mahajans. But he came because he wanted to glorify the Lord. You know, so it just so happened, Krishna organizes. He had the desire to glorify the Lord. So Krishna arranged it in such a way that he could come. Yeah. So.
And Vidur is the one, right, that Krishna sent him, right, to Gokul when Krishna was in Dwarka, and told him to go and check and see how the gopis are doing, how Radharani is doing.
That is Uddhav.
Uttha, okay. I got confused. Okay.
Vidur was the younger brother of Dhritarashtra.
Of Dhritarashtra. Okay. All right. So then I'm confused between these two. Okay.
That's
right.
okay. Actually, you know, Vidur, when he was doing the pilgrimages, he went to Uddhav and he told Uddhav, because before departing the world, Krishna speaks again Uddhav Gita. Before Krishna left the world, he gave this important instructions to Uddhav that you go and preach this knowledge to the sages in the Nar-Narayan Rishi in Badrikashram and all the other sages. So Vidur knew that Krishna had given knowledge to Uddhav, and so he went to Uddhav and he said, please give me the knowledge. But Uddhav told him that Maitreya Rishi is nearby. You please go and hear from Maitreya Rishi, because that is the way of giving respect, you know. He said, Maitreya Rishi is much more senior than me. He's much more respectable than me. So you go and take knowledge from him.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe we can stop here for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Have a Krishna conscious day.
Krishna.